Donald Trump is a race hustler.
He's not a race hustler.
How is he not a race? When there's one black dude in the crowd, look at my black supporter.
Joe Biden goes to Howard University. This is a few weeks ago. Commencement exercise. And he says the #1 threat to the homeland is white supremacy.
Right.
Are you smoking something?
Right. Larry Elder on there cooking. Michael Rapaport. I love Michael Rapaport to a certain degree. I like the fact that he at least is being honest about his ignorance in certain things, and he's being honest about now that he thinks that Trump has a possibility to win. But Michael Rapaport, like, do you not know that Larry Elder is the GOAT? And Larry Elder on here cooking. When you ask Larry Elder something, you better be prepared for the answer because he's going to make you a conservative in 30 seconds or less. This video is brought to you by TatumStore.com, TatumStore.com. Make sure you get the merch link in the description section. Our brand new shirt, Biden Lies, got a list of his lies. And then right here, we got a QR code on the shirt. So therefore, if anybody say, he didn't do that, we got a fact check right here. You do the QR code, it'll take you to a page where all of this is fact checked. These are real things that Joe Biden has done and said and lied about. Nelson Mandela, I mean, all kind of stuff he lied about. These are all his lies. Fact check it if you want to. Get you one of these shirts from Tatum Store. Like and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell so you get a notification anytime I go live. Y'all need to do. Let's get into this. Ladies and gentlemen, let's watch this together. I mean, Larry Elder just started cooking. He cooking, ladies and gentlemen. He cooking. I don't know why people think that they can challenge Larry Elder on anything unless they really ready to get convinced or and convinced into the truth. Because Larry Elder, I never forget, Larry Elder woke Dave Rubin up right on his own show. He said, of course, his police are racist and then Larry Elder just started whooping him with facts, just spanking him. Then all of a sudden, Dave Rubin is now more conservative than he's ever been in his life, and he admits to it. It was a wake-up call, but maybe this is a wake-up call for Michael Rapaport wrote a clip.
As far as making it polarizing and who's made it, taking it to another level, Trump, and you're a chill dude, you're a well-spoken dude. When I think of a conservative person who presents himself like a conservative, you are absolutely somebody I would say, who presents himself that way. Trump got elected iconically at his debates, why he became the people's champ, lying Ted Cruz, this one's names, that one names. That seems so opposite to the type of behavior that you represent from yourself. Why and how can you support a guy who also, I also heard you say that when it comes to debates, you're not at the debates. You don't like everybody shooting each other down, and then because it's not good for the party, and you don't like that. People like Gavin Newsom will then again use it against you. But Trump got elected not shooting, fucking publicly lynching, giving nicknames, sexualized hands, all the bullshit that he did. And I know you don't curse. How can you support this guy?
Y'all got y'all popcorn? Are you sitting down? Because he finna start cooking. Michael Rapaport, I do not understand how he goes so extreme about Trump. He gets too extreme. But here we go. Roll a clip.
I'm watching the Golf Channel. I'm not a golfer, but
give it to me straight. Don't give me about the golf.
I'm watching the Golf Channel.
Don't Tiger Woods me here like a Jack Nicholson me.
I love the sport, although I don't play it.
Okay.
And
I'm following you. You're not gonna
stay with me. This is gonna make a lot of sense to you. These two professional golfers were being interviewed, and the host said, "What makes a good golfer?" And one of them went through this beautiful, elaborate description of what makes a good golfer, where you put your hands, where your shoulders are, where your legs are, where your eyes are. And the other one went like this. I look to see where the ball lands. I like where the ball lands on immigration, on abortion, on judges, on taxes, on losing the regulations, on reversing the war against oil and gas, on standing up to China. That's what I like. The rest of it is white noise, pardon the expression.
But is it white noise, Larry?
To me, it is.
All right, to you it is.
Look at the BS Joe Biden does.
I want to stay. We'll get to Joe. We'll get to smoking Joe Biden. We'll get to cadaver Joe Biden. I'm not one of these people. I vote for Larry. I am not one of these people. And the only time that people pay attention to me with politics is when I go at Trump. I go at all of them. All of them.
Well, we need to do it now.
But let's stay on your guy Trump.
This is about Trump.
Okay.
Obama. I'm in Boston 2000.
This is about Trump. Obama.
I will connect the dots.
Okay, connect them good. The golf was good.
The beautiful thing about the podcast is I get time to develop a thought.
100%.
When he walked into the Oval Office the third week of January 2009, I know this is a long way of answering your question, he was at 70% approval.
Barack.
Yeah.
Yes.
He got elected with 53%. How do you get to 70% when you haven't done anything? The answer is a bunch of people who still don't want their taxes raised, as he promised to do, who don't want Obamacare, as he promised to do, said at the very least, he will bring us together racially. So both blacks and whites thought that race relations would improve. When he left, both blacks and whites thought race relations got worse. Why? 8 years. The Cambridge police acted stupidly. If I had a son, he looked like Trayvon. Racism is in our DNA. He embraced Black Lives Matter, had Al Sharpton in the White House over 70 times. He had an AG, Attorney General Eric Holder, who said voter ID was pernicious racism. He played the race card over and over and over to the point where here in New York, his last term, Officers Liu and Ramos were shot sitting in their car by a black guy who was pissed off because of the Black Lives Matter narrative that the police were engaging systemic racism against black people. The stats, by the way, do not show that whatsoever. Baton Rouge, three officers killed execution style by another black man. He also told on social media, told friends, he did it because of systemic racism by the police. 5 officers killed execution style in Dallas. Another different black guy. 3 different black men.
These are lunatics, though.
All motivated by the same rhetoric.
Right.
That Obama embraced. The Black Lives Matter BS that Obama embraced. My point is, Obama made things worse racially, not better, worse. He did the opposite of what American people thought he was going to do when they hired him. So while Donald Trump gets a whole lot of grief for stuff he said, Obama gets nothing because he did well-crafted sentences, he went to Harvard, he spoke beautifully, but he had the same incendiary rhetoric that you accused Donald Trump of having, except you didn't think it was going to come from him.
Y'all know I can't just play it through because they'll copy me. They'll copyright hit me. But what he said is true. People are not looking at the ramifications that came from Barack Obama because he was so beloved. He was well-spoken. He was a snake oil salesman. This is what Larry Elder is saying. The one golfer is talking all this nuance and everything, but at the end of the day, where is the ball going to hit? You can have pretty gloves. You can have great shoes. Your sock line can be right. You can have your short line be right. You can wear what is the brand guy? Travis Matthews, and you can have all the nice gear, and you can have the best driver, and none of that matter. Where's that ball landing, either in the hole or closest to the hole, in the least amount of strokes as possible? Well, like that's all that matters. So Trump, you can say Trump is a clumsy, nasty looking, crazy skin, toupee wearing. You can say whatever you want to say, but is he effective? Obama did it all good. Had the gloves, had the hair, had the family, had all this stuff. Terrible. He was handicapped 400.
Joe Biden goes to Howard University. This is a few weeks ago. Commencement exercise. And he says the number one threat to the homeland is white supremacy.
Right.
Are you smoking something?
Right. I know. It's pathetic.
The
pathetic.
Anti-Defamation League keeps track of how many people are killed every year by extremists. Last year, there were 25 people out of the over 20,000 people who were killed.
And every one of them is a heartbreaking, devastating thing.
Yeah, but it's 25.
But I got it.
And if you want to play that game, Michael, most homicide is same-race homicide.
Right.
Most white people are killed by other white people. Most black people are killed by other black people. However, every year, there are roughly 750, a small percentage of the homicides are interracial black-white. 500 white guys are killed by blacks, even though blacks are 13% of the population. And 250 black guys are killed by whites, even though whites are 60% of the population. Now, if Donald Trump went to a university and said, the number one threat to the homeland is black supremacy, you and I would both denounce him as a race-hustling demagogue, and should.
Do you don't think he's a race hustler?
Biden does it. Nobody says a word.
Do you? Listen, I will say to you right now, when you said to Charlemagne, you brought up the fact that Charlemagne, who I like, he said, when Joe Biden said to him, you're not black, and he said it to him. He didn't just say it to him. He said it to the entire world. Right. He said to the entire black public.
You ain't black, yeah.
You ain't black.
Yeah.
He ain'ted it. You ain't black if you don't vote for Joe. You ain't black if you vote. What did he say? You ain't black for Joe.
If you don't know whether you want to vote for me or vote for Trump, you ain't black.
And Charlemagne said nothing.
Said nothing.
And I know Joe Biden is full of shit. I know Joe Biden is a race hustler. I know Kamala Harris is a race hustler.
Okay.
And I know that Donald Trump is a race hustler.
He's not a race hustler.
How is he not a race? When there's one black dude in the crowd, look at my black supporter. He's so happy. Come on, Larry.
Awkward, clumsy. I wouldn't have said it, but it doesn't make him a hustler.
That's the same shit, though.
Do you know Donald Trump got a smaller percentage of the white vote than Mitt Romney did 4 years earlier?
Donald Trump got a smaller percent of the white vote
than Mitt Romney did 4 years earlier.
So what does that mean?
Well, if he's a race hustler, you think that he would get a greater percentage of the white vote, since after all, he's race hustling in order to attract racist white people. He got a smaller percentage of the white vote than Mitt Romney did.
I'm talking about the. Listen, Larry. These are old.
Listen, Larry. Hold on.
Old school. These are old. We know.
Best economy ever for black people. He pardoned Jack Johnson, the first black heavyweight champion. Even Barack Obama.
That's nothing.
Even Barack Obama
pardonings of a dead person is. Come on, man.
He commuted the sentence of Alice Johnson.
Yes, because of Kim Kardashian. Because he wanted Kim Kardashian to support her.
He did the First Step Act, which allowed some 5,000 men behind bars to have.
I'm talking about the race hustling. They've both done things that we could say. What things have Joe Biden done to help the black community? You know stats up the wazoo. You're pulling out shit from 1962. What things has Joe Biden done to help the black community? Whether it's appeasing race hustling or not. Give me one. Give me one.
That Joe Biden has done?
Smoking Joe Biden.
I would say nothing.
Not a thing.
Larry said nothing. And Michael ain't got nothing either.
Raising taxes hurts people at the bottom. Inflation hurts people at the bottom.
You're not going to give me one
gas
thing.
Prices, I can't think of anything. And his rhetoric has been awful. He's lied about his civil rights record. He claimed when he was a teenager, he would go to the black church and he would strategize how to desegregate movie theaters and restaurants in Wilmington, Delaware. New York Times did a whole thing on it. He never did it. And his aides were told, New York Times said, to stop saying it. He says it anyway.
But you're saying you
talk about him being a race hustler. He said he went to apartheid Africa when Nelson Mandela was behind bars, and he tried to see him and got arrested. Never happened.
But you don't like the rhetoric from Joe Biden. But you're stating the rhetoric from Joe Biden. But you're like, you care where the ball is with Trump.
I was with Trump in 2016 at a black church in Cleveland. He talked about the black family and about how important it was. And I loved it. And people responded well to him. Remember he said, what do you have to lose? Your schools are bad.
Right, what do you have to lose?
What's wrong with that? What do you have to lose? And he got 8% of the black vote in 2016. He got 12% of it in 2020, a 50% increase. And 20% of black men voted for him in 2020. A substantial increase because a lot of black people saw what was going on. The economy was good. He expanded enterprise zones in the inner city. He did something on the border. The people that are most hurt by illegal aliens economically are black people living in the inner city, because if you are a black person living in the inner city with high school or less, you're competing against illegal aliens with very little education. About 1 million more black people would be working if it weren't for illegal alien labor, according to a study done by the Civil Rights Commission. And Donald Trump stopped that. And Joe Biden has opened the floodgates. 8 million people, probably by the time he ends his term, will be here in the country.
I could watch 20 more hours of Larry Elder putting the smack down. And I'm not trying to really diss Michael Rapaport, because I think Michael actually gave a fair assessment of what he thinks, and he let Larry Elder speak, and Larry Elder was speaking. He was saying it. And I think it's clear to see as the noonday sun that Larry Elder know what he's talking about. And I'm telling you this, I'll finish this video with this because it's a pretty long video. If people were able to see Donald Trump for who he genuinely is as a person, I think he will wow most of America, because they painted this picture of him being such a monster. And if you never listened to him speak, you never seen him in his element, you would probably think he's a monster. They just only show clips of him saying something, calling people names and all this stuff. They build this picture of who you think he is. When I sit down with Trump, because I will, when I sit down with Trump and do an interview, I want to bring out the humanity of Trump. I want people to see who the Trump is that I think Trump is. You know what I'm saying? Or that I know from Trump, or the things that I've seen. I can't say I know because I don't hang around Trump. You know what I mean? I don't kick it with him a lot. From what I've seen in my experiences with him, meeting him a couple times, I want the world to see that side of Donald Trump. He's a genuine guy. I know arrogant D-bags when I see him. And Donald Trump isn't that guy. As rich as he is, as famous he is, he's so open and nice and kind and generous and shake your hand and say hello, and he's just chilling. He's just doing his thing. That dude is not an evil villain. He may be able to crank it up when it's time to do some business, which you expect everybody to do. But his general, every day, he's just hanging out and he loving people and he's genuine. And Biden is a nut job. So regardless, I think that if everybody saw Donald Trump the way that Larry Elder, myself, and others have seen Donald Trump, I think he would have probably 50% of the black vote. The black men, the women, I don't know what y'all doing. But the black men, I think most of them are kind of waking up to the foolery of what's going on the left. And it's a woman thing and it's a black woman thing. Black women are far more accepting of homosexuality and all this old crazy stuff than black men are. I'm telling you. And a lot of these black women are raising these young black men, and they're raising them in that to be victims and all this stuff. Not all, but I think generally speaking, it's happening and occurring more than I would like. Anyway, comment in the comment section. Tell me what you think about Larry Elder. I'll see you on the next one. I'm out.